Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring classical China era's character. And today's character is about language. And look at the title here, One Word a Day. Language is the currency of thinking. So from the beginning of me conceptualize this program, I'm thinking about, I want to explore human thinking through the lens of language because I firmly believe to understand how we operate, we have this appearance that's shown on language. So through language, we have clues to thinking. And Chinese in particular, as a pictographic language, one of the largest surviving pictograph language that's developed based on imagery instead of sound. That unique feature made Chinese almost like a rich site for our discovering of how humans conceptualize things through this visual representation. And so here we are talking about language itself. So how Chinese wen, pictograph, differentiate from 字. We have 文 and 字 here. 字, in short, is a combo. Is a compound word made of two or three, up to, I don't know, but I definitely came across like 5 different pictographs compounded together to create a new meaning. So that's 字, like a combination of pictographs. And then 文 is singular by itself. So 文 is almost like the beginning, the very beginning of humans trying to conceptualize the world, to capture that into this 2D frame. And when you see Google Translate, they have this icon from alphabetic to pictographic. And we use letter A, the beginning of alphabets, to represent alphabetic language, and wen is like a totally different system. And visually, it looks a little bit more complicated than letter A, which is 3 strokes. Wen is 4 strokes. It's not that complicated, actually. If you look at it, it's mostly made of an X. It's a crossing. Underneath, a vertical line, very short vertical line on top of a horizontal line. So here is the structure is more stable versus the script rendering, make it a softer, with more visual intricacy than the straightforward, horizontal line, crisscross like that. And also it's proportionally very interesting, right? Than that. So visuals aside, just by the structure, how the language creators create a character about the language itself, or the beginning of language itself. The beginning of Chinese, at least, like Lego building, right? Pictograph is the basic Lego piece. So it's one piece. And then we can snap them together to make into a bigger concept, a more complicated concept. So this basic Lego piece, how the language itself conceptualize about itself. Right? Okay, so in short, standing explainers by generations of scholars who research over this have this standing theory of this pictograph, this wen character. This crisscross means this human markings. Why is it human? It's not like random, not natural cracks, because it's symmetrical. Naturally occurring symmetrical markings like these 2 lines crossing each other is not that easy, right? So just by it's perfectly symmetrical and it's intentionally crossing each other, gave you the sense of it's intentional, it's a human marking, not by something else. And then on the top, nobody explained what does that mean, have this dot above this horizontal line. Okay, that to me represent human world building beginning of the human building human world. So if language itself is we're building our cognitive world, this one dot above this horizontal line is a human shelter, like a spatial world that we're building. It's the beginning of architecture. And it's simply a rooftop with a chimney or a ventilation, something that connects the internal or within the space to the outside, because you need to have this airflow going, right? So this simple structure, one dot above one horizontal line, gives you another kind of tell sign of it's a human touch. It's a human build structure. Just like this crisscross is a human build concept. And together, they make sure it's doubly human build things, either spatial or cognitive, verbal thing for us to record what happened, right? Our thoughts, to communicate with each other and with future generations. Like thousands of years later, I here sitting 2025, looking at this character, trying to imagine back then how people conceptualize this. What language, how language describe language itself, right? Isn't that amazing? Okay, 文字, we talked about that. Singular pictograph, the single Lego piece, versus the combination, the compound character, that's 字. Now, 文学, almost like a 字 and 学 looks the same, right? But if we look at the ancient version, the script that we came across several episodes ago, 学 is about learning. It's about this infant, this baby, human baby, under that roof, handed over by the teachers of intricate patterns, like crisscross again. So in 学, this learning concept, also we have this crisscross. That's intentionally human constructed framework to understand how the world operates, right? So 学 about learning. When we pair when text or language with learning, language learning or text learning, it's a Chinese expression for literature. And you would think, okay, learning about a language is more like a linguistics, right? It's actually 语言学, it's another expression, but somehow 文学 is Chinese translation of literature. So it's expressing or passing. How does this define literature? Literature is an art form that through language itself, the author communicate or evoke, understanding or emotional response from the readers. So it's just purely through the art form of language. And so that's 文学. I don't think it's that accurate. It's more like linguistics, right? If you think it logically. But in the age of translation, when the Western civilization concepts, abstract concepts like literature or linguistics got introduced to China, somebody had got to do this translation, and somebody landed on this, and we all today inherit this translation, that 文学, this text learning, is about literature, not linguistics. Okay, 文明, 明 means light. And when you shed light on through text, like a text illuminates, that's civilization. And Chinese translation of civilization, I can buy that, because what is history? History is recorded, like with recording through language that humans record what happened. That's history. Prehistory, prehistoric time is before we have a verbal recording of what actually happened. And that to us is like darkness. With later days, we don't know what happened before we have a written record. And 文明, the civilization, was basically defined as text-based. When you have a text, when you have this recording, then things get illuminated. You can look at this particular civilization. And of course, non-written form, I guess, tribal cultures exist, but probably they're not regarded as big civilizations that got, to build something big. It means lots of humans have to collaborate. And for them to collaborate, they have to have language as an operating system, right? They have to have written, verbal form of communication for civilization to exist. So I can buy into this translation of what civilization is about. It's a text-based, illuminated understanding of things. Okay, so there we go, pictograph one. And here is the jumble of different languages, obviously. And the Chinese distinctly is different from all the other alphabetic languages. This is pictographic language. And here is 我爱你, I love you. And isn't that a beautiful message to put them together across different languages? Like that's a common human feeling. And through different languages represent here. And I'm very lucky to fall into like born into this language that I can say and to understand about thinking about a language through the lens of Chinese. Thank you for your time. See you another day.